Nice for What by Recie D. Prologue. I stood on the rooftop looking down at the world below me. Blurred lights speeding by made me dizzy. I looked forward and closed my eyes as the cool night air brushed my face. I held my head between my hands. I could feel myself unsteadily stumbling forward. Why am I feeling so impaired? Was the only question running through my mind as I held on to the ledge. I only had a few drinks, and they were pretty watered down. I opened my eyes, staring down, and the swirling lights continued to make me feel lightheaded. I turned around and perched myself slightly on the ledge, just enough to where I could rest but still keep my feet on the ground. "Lena!" I heard a voice yell loudly, startling me so much that I lost my balance. Suddenly, I felt like a lightweight. I'm falling. Chapter 1. 2 weeks before. Darelena long on Friday morning. I stood naked in front of my full-length mirror, examining my body. I stood a full 5 feet 4, 180 pounds, and my breasts hung slightly, but my hourglass waist made up for that. I turned to the side and looked at my average-sized butt. Some days I wished it was a little bigger, but overall it did its justice. My milk chocolate skin glistened from the shea butter that I just applied. I reached over and grabbed the wide-toothed comb and started to untangle my wet, curly, shoulder-length hair. I heard the shower shut off, and within minutes, my husband Adrian emerged from the bathroom with a towel wrapped around his waist. "How was the shower, AJ?" I asked in a cheerful tone. "When are you getting your straight hair back?" he replied abrasively, ignoring my question. "Well, I thought it would be nice to give my hair a little break and wear it natural for a few weeks, bae." I grabbed the brush and swept my hair up into a high, bushy ponytail and then started working on my edges. I directed my gaze at him through the mirror. "You can't tell me that this isn't cute," I said playfully, trying to ease the tension in the room. "It's not," he said dryly without even looking up. I watched him as he oiled his muscular frame with shea butter. The oil made his smooth peanut butter skin glow deliciously. He stood up to a full 6 feet 4. Sometimes I couldn't understand how someone so fine could be so mean. I finished my hair and walked over to the bed and started to put on my bra and panties. He walked to the opposite side of the bed and started to get dressed as well. The room was silent, and the shifting from the clothes made it even more awkward. Finally, I could feel his judging eyes glaring at me. I looked up, realizing that I didn't have time or the energy to spark up a debate. I let out a soft sigh. "I'll make an appointment to get my hair done." My tone mirrored my feelings of defeat. I turned around, facing the wall, and pulled my scrub bottoms up. "Do you mind handing me my top, or is that too much to ask?" I asked in a snippier tone than I wanted to give off. I could hear him laugh as he walked over to me, caressed my back for a moment, and then helped me put my shirt over my head. He wrapped his arms around my waist and pulled me closely. "Babe," he started in a soft tone, "I'm sorry. I'm not trying to offend you. It's just that kinky hair, I cut him off. Yeah, I know. It's not a part of the long image." I used my fingers as quotation marks as I quoted his family's favorite line. He gently turned me around. I stared in his brown eyes, and he smiled and kissed me on the forehead. "I knew you would understand," he said approvingly. He let me go and continued to gather his things for work. "I have to get to the firm, baby," he added as he hurried to the door. "Hey, babe." "Yes," I replied. "Try to get to the gym sometime this week." That was his final jab. I heard his footsteps head down the stairs and the front door closed behind him. I looked in the mirror at myself. I knew I had gained a few extra pounds since the wedding, but I honestly thought it filled me out quite nicely. I shook my head, slipped on my work shoes, and walked out the room, down the stairs, and into the kitchen. I reached for a croissant but decided on an apple instead. Don't want to offend him by gaining any more weight, I mumbled to myself as I left out the house to head to work.